Welcome to IKEA News. I'm Lillian.
And I'm Luci. Today's subject is vandalism. Vandalism is affecting students every day at JCOS. Everyone has reacted differently in foundations to the acts of vandalism. Some disagree, some don't care, and some actively participate.
Vandalism is in the bathrooms, on the walls, and on the playground. To hear more about that, here's Amelie.
Although the drawings are appropriate, it is still teaching kids vandalism is okay. It is destroying property.
People who vandalize need to be held accountable. More about that is our interview with Dawn.
How has the vandalism affected you?
The vandalism has affected me because I've had to do a ton of looking at cameras, trying to figure out who's doing what, and it's really hard, especially in the bathrooms. There's no cameras in there, so I have to, look and see who goes in, who goes out, and then do some interviewing there. A lot of work.
What's your opinion on vandalism?
Well, I think it is awful for the community because it makes, it's just not respectful. There's lots of us here, little kids, big kids, and when any age kids do vandalism anywhere in the school, it just affects everyone, including the adults.
Thank you, Dawn. Now here's our interview with Al about norms surrounding vandalism. Okay, how did the lockers get out of hand?
I think the lockers got out of hand because a lot of staff at the beginning of the year were under the impression that because the West Wing is getting redone, that it didn't really matter that much. And so folks gave students some leeway and some permission to draw and decorate their lockers, but I think without some specific guidance around those parameters, then people just started writing profane things and inappropriate things on the lockers.
What were some norms or rules you set in place for the lockers?
To not write inappropriate or profane things on the lockers. Anything that's denigrating, discriminating, demeaning, anything like that.
And what was your reaction to it?
To the remarks that were denigrating and demeaning, it was, I was disappointed, I think, in seeing that. I was a little disgusted at some of the remarks. There was some homophobic slurs in a couple of places. I think there was a swastika written on a locker, and that made me really upset and sad.
All right, thank you for your time.
That it?
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah,
you
that's
bet.
Thanks, Al. Let's move on to our interview with Katie about how she is taking care of the vandalism in the girls' bathroom.
Well, hi, welcome. So I have a few questions about vandalism. How has the vandalism affected you?
So my whole relationship with the vandalism, specifically in the bathroom, was that I went in and I just noticed some graffiti that was really problematic and, quite frankly, a little bit triggering. And so I had this idea that I would paint the crisis hotline numbers over it as a message to whoever had written the things that they had written, that you're not alone, we're here for you, there's people who can help you. And so then it sort of became my mission to start to beautify the bathroom space, because there was just all this writing, and some of it was really cool, and there's a lot of really great art in there and some uplifting messages, but there's also things that are really either harmful to others, harmful to the self, inappropriate, and I didn't want to see it anymore. And so I started painting over things, and I painted this big flower, and it just seemed sort of like a hydra, in the sense where I painted over one thing and 3 more things would pop up. And it became super aggravating because I was trying to do this nice thing for our community, and it just felt like kind of a loss. And so then later I sort of took a step back from it, and then I went in there to find something derogatory written about and that was sort of the final straw. And that was when we decided to, shut the bathroom down for the day to send a message, and, it was what it was. It was sending a message that the behavior has been, we've warned people about it, and it hasn't changed, and so now there's going to be consequences. And it just seems like things just continue to pop up, and it almost feels like a really lost effort, and something that I don't want to be spending all of my time and energy on, but I kind of have to.
Do you have any a specific opinion on vandalism?
I think that it's not necessary. I think that if you're going to make art in a public space, you go about the right avenues to do it. I think that people do have the right to make their art, but I also think that there's a time and a place and correct avenues to go to make public art, especially in a space like a school. And so I think that vandalism is unnecessary, and that if you want to write things or send messages or draw things, that there's ways to do it that are more productive and better for our community.
And I know we kind of covered this, but what has been dealing and cleaning up the vandalism and the graffiti in the bathrooms?
Yeah, it's been really aggravating just because when you're trying to do something good and positive and beautiful, and then people go out of their way to hurt that or to ruin that. It's hard not to take it personally. When I've been seen in there with my paintbrushes, with my paints, doing things, when I've talked about the work that I've done, it's hard not to take it to heart and feel like people don't care. And so I think that our space deserves to be nice and beautiful and appropriate, and that we deserve to have places that are like that, and that it's just not fair to the greater community.
More about the weather and our tsunami warning, here's Thomas.
I'm Thomas. Today the weather is cloudy with a chance of meatballs in southeastern Colorado. This week we're under a tsunami warning coming from northern Colorado. We ask you to stay safe. Ways to be safe is be aware of the risk of electrocution, avoid floodwater, save phone calls for emergencies, and stay away from damaged buildings, roads, and bridges. The temperatures this week are at a record high of 400 and 600 degrees. That's all for weather. Back to the desk.
Thank you for watching IKEA News. I'm Lucy.
I'm Lillian.
Have a great afternoon.